Hey folks, welcome back to the channel.
Hi everybody.
This is Brian and I'm John. And today we're going to, that was interesting crawling out of there from underneath that saddle. Someone brought me a bike to sit and told me that they needed the brakes adjusted.
That's what?
That's what they told me. And I immediately started doing, and you know, I just go to my M-check.
Yep.
And wow, I saw so many problems here with this that the title of this episode is really when to say when and when to take it off life support.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So, because there, you know, you can spend a lot of money on this, or you can spend some money and just try to repair what's gone. But I'm going to get around on the other side of the camera and kind of talk through what I saw.
Yeah.
Or do you want to go on the other side of the camera?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll go on the other side of the camera since I've looked at this a lot, and I figured out what's wrong with the brakes. That was pretty easy. It was easy until it wasn't easy, but it's like, here's the big question: do you throw good money at this? Or do you take it to your secondhand shop and say, I'm going to donate one and take the money you would have spent on parts to have one that's been checked over by a trained mechanic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a death trap.
It is a death trap, and I would not trust, it's a kid's bike, a great frame, it's a Marin frame, but man, I don't think I'd let any of my kiddos ride this.
No.
All right, so I'm going to walk over to the other side of the camera, and then I'm going to start, pick it up here and go through what I saw and why we're saying that maybe you don't want to repair this. All right, hope it's helpful. Well, Brian, my check tends to go from the front to the back, but you went to the back here first.
Well, I was going to go worst to least worst.
Least worst, okay. Well, hey folks, look at that pie plate. It's all chewed up.
Yeah, the dork disc is toast.
Yeah, and the cassette is really rusted. We don't have any idea what's going on with the derailleur hanger. You were going to check the chain, weren't you?
Yeah, not that this chain is even worth saving because it's so rusty, but
right.
Funny, this chain is, well,
Oh, that's pretty stretched. Look at that.
It's pretty stretched, yeah.
Wow. So the chain is stretched.
Chain stretched.
Yeah. And now it came to me, Brian, somebody said, hey, can you help fix the brakes? Well, I looked at this, and hold that out, buddy.
Oh, this whole, like what's going on here?
Well, so they tried to, tighten up the brakes, but as I looked a little bit more closely, guess what's missing here?
Yeah, we're missing a brake pad.
Brake pads.
Oh, this isn't even tight.
Yeah, not tight at all.
Yeah, and if we keep just following this brake, these brake cables are supposed to be in these little bosses.
Right.
So this one's supposed to go, I can get to the other side.
Yeah,
and then there's another up here, but now they're just here, loose.
Right, and a kid tried to probably wrench on this. I'm really surprised you were able to raise the seat post.
Yeah, it came out. I should have just clamped on the tube because who cares? But
I guess the other piece is, and without digging too deep into it, holy cow, I have no idea what's going on with the bottom bracket. I feel some grinding.
It's not loose.
It's not loose, but there is some grinding in there. But Brian, why I'm saying, pull the plug on this one, it's not going to end up being safe to ride, is let's just start doing some math. You're going to need some brake caliber. And, I could spend a day over at Community Bikes and dig through a bin looking for something that'll work. And then maybe I can find a cassette that'll, oh my gosh, that won't even spin. Oh boy. And maybe I could find a cassette. I can pull the pie plate off. And that way it'll give me some indication of whether the derailleur's bent or not. So I want to move up to my biggest concern was really up front. And, I started my process by doing an M-check, and I immediately noticed it was really loose. Well, Here they found a bolt in the toolbox that they thought might work here on the quick release.
Nut, that's a nut.
That's a nut. That's what I made. That nut there on that quick release, right? If you look at the forks here, you can see that they've probably never been serviced. And closer inspection, looking really closely here at the head tube, you can see how the head tube moves. And so those spacers are gone.
Yeah,
and
this headset's loose.
The headset's loose. And I'm gonna slide up here first a little bit more. And the shifters, well, that's not a deal breaker, but wow, man, the windows are gone. Who knows if they're going to, even the paws are even gonna work. I'm betting the paws don't even work. Nope. You look over here on the other side, we got the same thing going on here on the other side. Okay, Brian, just a second ago, we were talking off camera about these are non-COVID days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, there's no global bike shortage right now.
Right.
And bike companies are pushing their bikes out the door at huge sales. And
Right.
so there's tons of used bikes. And like this thing, if this thing were working and wasn't a death trap, it would be worth $100 tops.
Totally. But if you start adding up the parts that we would need to replace on this,
Yeah, and I mean, even if they're not new, even if like we're going to community bikes and we're getting a cassette and a chain and a derailleur and
some brake cable and some brake housing, because we're not going to, I'm seeing this one here is all discombobulated.
yeah, I mean, so
Even know what to say about it.
So like, when I get used parts at a place like that, they're usually about 10, 15 bucks a piece if it's not something that's super high end.
Right.
So if you got a cassette and a derailleur and shifters, right there you're looking at 40 bucks for used parts. And this crank, at least the chain rings need replaced. There's another 10, 20 bucks in used parts right there.
Right. The fork.
This fork is probably toast. And the thing about a fork, man, if that thing fails,
That's
an
it's
ER visit,
It's a safety hazard. My friend was saying, "Oh, I got grips for it."
There's another 10 bucks.
At least.
And then, you need,
Cable housing, and we already.
2 cable housing for the shifters and 2 housings for the brakes, and 2 new cable brakes, brake cables and 2 new shifter cables, and right there, that's $100.
So, hey folks, do you see our point here? Without even addressing and putting on a new fork, we have already gone past the $100 mark.
Yeah.
And you could go to, I liken this, and my advice to the customer was say, you know what, don't throw good money after bad. Take it to community bikes, and they'll salvage what they can, because as we were looking at this, the tires are in really good shape.
Yeah. Somebody put new tires on this crummy bike.
And the wheels seem to be pretty true. So those are something that they'll be able to reuse. A lot of the other pieces, probably not so much.
I was looking, other than the tires, the only thing on here that I would put in my parts bin is these headset spacers.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Like, there's, it's an aluminum frame, which means it's got a lifespan anyway. It's got a crummy spring fork that didn't work when it was new. Yeah, this is not something you want to put a kid on, really.
Yeah, and you don't want your child out there ripping down a trail on this, folks. It's a safety hazard. I'm not going to call it a death trap, but it's definitely a safety hazard. But I really want to know, folks out there in YouTube land, when do you pull the plug on one and say enough is enough? Now, there's not a lot of emotional value in this frame.
No.
These frames are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
It's not like you're dealing with a really cool retro vintage frame that is worth salvaging.
It's not even steel.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not even steel. All right. So I think the advice where I'm telling folks out there in YouTube land is, if you get a project like this and you're thinking about maybe fixing it up, do the math first, folks, because the math on this one does not add up at all. I'm thinking if we replace the fork, you know, we're over $150, almost $200.
Yeah.
Even if we find used stuff. And you're going to be able to find a used mountain bike at your, you know, local used bike shop that's been worked on by a mechanic, and have more success and have more fun out riding, because that's the game, right?
And be safer. Yeah, I mean, but because it's a kid's bike.
It's a kid's bike.
Kids outgrow these. These end up on the secondhand market all of the time because kids outgrow them.
Yeah. And judging from this one, then the one you buy at community bikes may end up outside and in the weather, and you know, maybe need some deferred maintenance. But hey, so let us know what you think, and do that like, subscribe, and notify stuff, and of course go out and ride. And, whoop, another spider.
Spider webs.
Go out and ride. Clean the cobwebs off your bike. Have some fun.
Yeah. And keep the rubber side
down. Yeah. And you don't want to biff on this one.
Not this one.
No. All right, everybody. See you next time. Bye now.